Being politically active has a different meaning for every single person. There are so many interpretations, and everyone participates in their own way. To demonstrate how diverse this concept is among the members of our community here in Los Gatos, we interviewed 3 people who each have a different way of being active in the government or community. One voted, another went to a protest, and the last one is in student government. Okay. Natasha went to the Women's March in San Francisco when President Trump was inaugurated. Here are her reflections about her experience.
What protest or march did you attend?
I went to the Women's March in San Francisco.
Why did you attend this march?
I went to the Women's March because I think it's really important, especially now with all the recent things that have been happening in the government, to show a passion for feminism and a fight for equality with men, because I think it's been lacking recently, and it's important to show that we're still caring about the government and interested in what's happening.
Can you tell us a bit about your experience at the march?
I had a really positive experience at the march. I was surprised at how kind and supportive everyone was, and it was a really united culture. Everyone was helping each other and talking to each other. And I actually talked to a lot of people that I had never met before, and everyone brought signs, and there were so many people, and I thought it was a really positive atmosphere and a great experience.
Do you think you made a difference by attending this march?
I don't think I specifically made a huge difference, but I think the fact that so many people came together from so many places, and it was such a huge thing across the world, not even just in San Francisco, that made a big difference, and I'm sure it made our voices heard and actually impacted something.
What is political activism to you?
Political activism to me is staying informed on your current events and what's happening in the world, and also developing opinions on that, and then spreading your opinions and talking to people about it. And also having being open-minded to different perspectives is really important, because if you just only focus on your perspective and don't listen to other people, nothing's going to change and nobody else is going to change either. So it's important to stay informed and try to impact your society in any way that you can, whether it's by talking or attending marches or things like that.
Our next interviewee, Mr. Weinstein, voted in the 2016 election. Here are his views on participation in government.
Why do you vote?
Well, I think it's important civic duty to vote, and if you want to have any right to complain or have a say in what's going on, you really need to vote.
How did you decide who to vote for in the 2016 election?
Well, in the Democratic primary, I voted for Bernie Sanders because I felt that he was more likely to put in more regulation on Wall Street to help prevent future financial collapses like the one we had back in 2008. And once the primary was over and Hillary Clinton was the Democratic nominee, I voted for Hillary because I felt that Donald Trump was not a serious candidate and was going to be a completely incompetent president.
What is political activism to you?
As far as the things I've personally done, I'd say kind of the first thing I did was during the election, I bought several subscriptions to newspapers such as the Washington Post and the New York Times, because I felt that having a strong free press was an important part of our democracy, especially once Trump started attacking the press. And after the election, I donated to several causes that I thought would, several organizations that I thought would combat some of the negative things that I thought the Trump administration was going to try to do, such as the National Resources Defense Council, ACLU, and a few others.
Lastly, Tommy is the vice president of the student government at Los Gatos High. He explains how being in student government helps him understand the federal government better and be active in politics.
Why did you decide to do student government?
I think it was a way for me to get involved here at Los Gatos. I guess coming in not knowing many people, it allowed me to meet not just other students, but teachers, administrators, and parents in the community.
What have you learned about government in general by being in student government?
I've learned that there's kind of a lot of variables that take place in student government. So I guess when you say it's hard to get stuff done, that is true. Just because there's so many factors you have to take into account, and there's always going to be someone who is not pleased with what you do, so you have to kind of figure out, what actions should I take that will, please the most amount of people, even though it's going to affect some negatively.
Awesome. Do you think participating in student government is a stepping stone toward being active in the U.S. government?
Yeah, I think you have to start somewhere, since I guess some people try to, go straight into Congress, but, most people start at a local level or even in a high school level for me. So, I think it's really important to have that experience. So, I guess the next step, maybe if I want to get involved in college, and then, there's just, there's so many different ways to go from here. So I think definitely, for sure, starting here at the high school level is important.
Awesome. Okay, what is political activism to you?
For me, I guess political activism is most importantly kind of having knowledge about the issues that take place on the national level, local level, and even internationally. Just kind of having an understanding of what's currently going on, and then I guess it also means that you should know kind of what has happened in the history. So I think just kind of reading the news, staying up to date, and I guess having your own opinions that's political activism for me.
All these people have different roles in the community, and they all have different ways of being active in politics. They show how being active doesn't have to be something on the grand scale, like running for president. There are so many other ways to participate and get your voice heard. Even small things like being an informed voter can make a great impact. Anyone can and should do their part to create a fair and equal democracy.